get it done, okay? There's no excuses. This time we get it done. Sell out! Don't let anybody ever lose confidence. We're going to get it done. It's going to happen. And, it'll happen late in the ball game, probably. If we keep going, we're going to be all right.
My best day on earth. Simply put, number one, baby.
Husker Vision presents Finished Business, the story of the 1995 Orange Bowl. On November 25th in Norman, Oklahoma, the Huskers celebrated their 4th straight Big 8 championship. And although these faces reflect the pride and joy that comes with a perfect regular season, they all knew there was still unfinished business.
Let's make sure that we do whatever it takes next month to get the thing done. Lots of programs go 20, 30 years and never get to this point. So let's finish it off. You know, whatever they give us, we'll take it. Let's make it work, okay? Congratulations. Did a great job.
After just a few days off to savor the victory over the Sooners, the second season was underway.
Down, that's it. There you go.
The Huskers began preparations almost immediately for their New Year's date in the Orange Bowl with Miami. In the sunshine of South Florida, the tough workouts continued, and it was evident that this year's trip was more business than pleasure because it was for the national championship.
We really pushed our players hard, and I'm sure there were times during the week that they felt like, what are these coaches doing? I mean, our legs are dead.
So we got to improvise. Great ones always adjust.
And I know I kept reassuring those receivers that their legs would come back, that we've been through this before, and that they would have the energy to get it done. And the night before the game, they felt great. In fact, we had to kind of tone them down.
I was talking to somebody, they were like, how did you like your vacation? I was like, well, it wasn't really a vacation because we were practicing and we were getting ready to play, so it was a lot of other people who were on vacation, but we were there to play a game, and we were very serious about what we had to get done.
And we were down there for one purpose, and that was to win that game, and you could tell it in practice. We practiced hard, and there wasn't a lot of screwing around and slacking off. We were there to get better, and I think, you know, we worked hard, and I think we worked harder than Miami did, evidently.
We practiced for a month before we went down there, and it was made up by everybody's minds that, you know, we were going down there for one thing, and one thing alone, that was to get the job done and take care of our unfinished business.
In last year's Orange Bowl, Florida State came back in the last minute to snatch the national championship out of NU's grasp. But following that game, the '94 Huskers made a commitment to get back to Miami and finish the business.
Yeah, that was our main intent. I mean, we came up so short last year in the Orange Bowl. You know, no one ever really forgot that, and, you know, we wanted to come down, you know, and have a good game against Miami and, you know, take care of what we started, and, you know, that was our main purpose of going down there.
I mean, I don't think anything had to be said or anyone had to be told what needed to be done. We just kind of looked at each other and thought back to last year and realized how close we were, and then we let it slip through our fingers, and I'll tell you, we were determined this year.
There was also a feeling, not just in Nebraska, but nationwide, that this would be Tom Osborne's year to win the national championship. In his 22 years at Nebraska, Tom has averaged 10 wins per season and ranks as the winningest active coach in the country. The 1994 Huskers were determined to add to Coach Osborne's long list of accomplishments by beating Miami and winning the national title.
The whole season, the things that we came through to get to where we were at the end of the season, you know, it was a great struggle, and we really pulled together as a team, and we wanted it so much for ourselves and Coach Osborne.
Tom, as much as he's done for myself, my family, that, you know, when you work for something, you work for somebody you really believe in. You know, so I think it was my biggest joy was to see him and his family, you know, have the opportunity to win a national championship.
While the Huskers were on a mission, having fun is still a big part of any bowl trip. And these Orange Bowl veterans knew how to mix business with pleasure.
Put him in headlock.
The players even wrestled the camera away from the Husker Vision crew to get some pictures of their own. And now, through the magic of Clinton Cam, you too can step behind the scenes.
He cheated.
No, you cheated.
He cheated.
No, you cheated. You cheated.
Guys, a pretty good bunch of guys. We're having a good time. Been with you for 4 years.
Hey,
but the biggest thing I'm concerned about
Get
is
Rambo off the mic.
for 3 years.
He ain't got no badge. They ain't real. Get him off the mic.
For 3 years.
With IBAC Clinton Childs behind the camera and receivers Clester Johnson and Abdul Muhammad working the microphone, here's a candid look at the Huskers like you've never seen them before.
This is our first Miami fan.
Absolutely.
And
from Miami, he'll know how to talk into a camera.
That's right. That's right. You must haven't seen the polls lately. The polls do not show Miami #1. But anyway, tell me how you feel about the game.
Wow. It should be a joke, but we'll see what happens.
It should be a joke. How?
Yeah, because nobody comes into the OB and beats us. Nobody.
Can you explain the Washington game?
Well, it wasn't a big game to us. It wasn't a big game to us. You know?
Every game is a big game. I haven't seen much of Dante. You know, he's been in his room a lot. So tell me, Dante, what have you been doing since you've been on Miami Beach?
I've been doing a lot of concentration, concentrating because we down here on business. I feel as though it's not a vacation time, so that's why I'm mainly in my room, focusing on what I have to do in the Orange Bowl.
That's a very good answer. That's a very good answer. That's something that the coaches would like to hear. But I really want to know. I really want to know what you've been doing. Is that really what you've been doing, Dante?
That's basically what I've been doing, doing a lot of resting and meditating on what I have to do.
Just as Clester Johnson and Abdul Muhammad alternated playing time at wingback, they shared the mic as well. And not missing a beat, number 27 captured the essence of a bus ride with the Huskers.
Here we are again, Abdul Muhammad with one of our favorite split ends, Brendan Holbein from Cozad, Nebraska.
How you doing?
I just wanted to ask you a quick question about the bus ride. How do you feel about the bus rides we take back and forth every day?
Well, the bus rides are kind of exhausting. Most of the time, people got their heads leaned against the windows and the foreheads against the back of somebody else's seat just sleeping. So it kind of gets just exhausting, tiresome, kind of annoying.
Well, let me introduce this Jason Jenkins, Jock Allen. They're going to perform a little show for us right here on the bus as we make our way back to the hotel.
If you know that I'm here, not like no other. Then you said we won the big eight, then we came out with another. 4 times the rhymes that never comes complete. I break it down, I never delete any because I never will trust you. You can't even mess with the 1994 Huskers. Never even play like that. And if you want to go around, then I'll stop you on the stop. Never ever drop, cause that I will top. And if you come to battle, then you will get dropped. Now, if you want to know and try to jam me, then we from a Lincoln, then we came down to Miami. Practice very hard, cause I'm not your dad, but every single day it seems like we are in full pads. Now, the sweat and the tears and there's a hurricane, but I have no fear. That's alright because the battle can be won, and it will be the national champions, the Huskers.
Yeah, bump it up, baby, bump it up. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Huskers #1 in the house, baby. That was nice. That was nice. And Jim, I'm about to ask Reggie, how did he like that? How did you like that little show they just put on there?
Very entertaining. He got skills on the mic, and he knows we're national champs too.
The Miami Seaquarium was the next stop for Clinton Cam.
As you can see in the background, we have here a packed dolphin show. And we're just going to slip our way on through here, try to find a couple of people who we can associate with as this show go on. So what we're going to do is step up here a little bit. Oh, it must have been something nice. You can hear the splashing in the background and everybody screaming. We got some of the dolphins doing some mighty tricks here. You might want to get this picture here. You might want to get a shot of this here. The dolphins, oh, look at them. That's beautiful. So, Mr. Penland, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good there.
How did practice go for you?
Went great.
How's this show? Is it a nice little something for the team, you think?
Yeah, very exciting. I'm surprised at how high the offense can jump.
Oh! They do got hops. This is Coach Samuels, right of the masterminds of the Husker Power. He coaches the outside linebackers. I just want to ask him a few questions about today. How do you feel about this?
Well, I've never seen a fish jump so high. Can you do that?
If the ball is in the air only. As you can see, Mr. Stye here is flinching. He's scared to get wet again. Can you imagine a big guy like this scared of getting wet? Can you imagine a big guy like this scared of getting wet? He's over here flinching from the Dolphins. How was that, though?
I tell you what, man. I've never gotten wet before like that. I'm definitely wet.
Well, Brendan might have been scared of the water, but amazingly enough, he wasn't scared of an 8,000-pound killer whale. Brendan was feeling awfully confident, as this little smooch on the cheek will attest.
Gave me a big kiss, and the trainer said that it usually doesn't make the sound of kissing. And it came up and actually gave me like that. It was weird.
Brendan was also in the spotlight on Christmas Eve, only this time he was in disguise.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas Eve with the Huskers is a family affair. And what better person to fill out a Santa Claus suit than a 300-pound All-America lineman? Stye stepped in for old St. Nick and turned out to be a big hit among the youngsters.
Thanks, Santa.
Normally, Media Day at the Orange Bowl is where reporters ask the questions. Often the same questions over and over. But this year, Clinton Cam allowed for a much different approach, with Husker players asking the questions.
Lee Corso,
yes, sir.
The favorite Husker fan. Could I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Who's you picking on this game?
I'm picking Nebraska to win. Nebraska, I think the offensive line, if they had any receivers, I'd really pick Nebraska to win. But but they don't have very good receivers at Nebraska, so I'm having a difficult time picking them.
So is the offensive line the only reason why you picking Nebraska?
Well, that's because of the offensive line, the quarterbacks and running backs. As I said before, the weakness of Nebraska so far looks like the outside receivers to me.
Is that right? So Miami's defensive line and defensive backs are gonna, I guess the defensive backs are gonna control the Husker receivers, right?
Absolutely. The Husker receivers are really kind of short, little stocky kind of guys. But I think they're pretty good most of the time.
I wish Coach Brown was here right now. But that's all I want to ask you.
Okay, thank you. Good luck to you.
Thanks. Look who we have here. Mr. Tommy Frazier himself signing autographs here. He never stopped. I know his hand is tired, but we going to need that one in the Orange Bowl this year. Tommy, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Mr. Muhammad.
That's
How about
good.
you?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Today we had a hard practice. Coach Brown is killing us. He's killing the receivers. My legs are wore down. How are your legs feeling?
Man, they feel like glue. They're just sticking to each other. They're just sticking to each other.
Oh, okay. We done here with Tommy Frazier. My fellow classmates is calling me. They about to rush me, but we're going to get out of here right now.
But as Media Day concluded, it was time to get back to unfinished business. Clinton put his camera away, and the Huskers refocused their attention to the task at hand, the Hurricanes of Miami. Sunday night, January 1st, 1995. With the eyes of the college football world focused on the Orange Bowl, it was time for one of the greatest coaches in college football history to take center stage. He had been to 22 straight bowl games, won more than 200 games, and won 11 Big 8 championships. And now the time had come for Tom Osborne to lead his #1 ranked Huskers into the ultimate challenge, Miami in Miami, for the national championship.
About 3 hours, we'll make believers out of America.
In the locker room prior to kickoff, the normal pregame jitters were evident among the Husker players. But there was also a confidence in the air that this group was going to take care of business, unfinished business.
Prior to the ball game, they said, "Coach, we're ready." I'm speechless before a ball game like that, and I really didn't know exactly what to say that last little bit before the ball game, And they said it all, said, Coach, we're ready.
I just had a sense of poise and confidence all night long that somehow, some way we were going to get it done. And I saw that in our players too. And it was just great to see the players rally around one another, pull together harder than we ever had.
I pretty much knew that we're going to come together and we're going to step it up a little bit because this has been a very long season. And there's no way that we were going to come this far and just give up. We just, you know, bonded together and stepped up the intensity and things went our way.
In his pregame talk to the players, Coach Osborne expressed his confidence in this team's ability to get the job done.
As far as this opportunity, there's a lot of guys that go through their whole career in college football and never get to this point. We've done it 2 years in a row now. Let's make it count this time. There's nothing that should be left on that football field. Every guy here is going to play as hard as he can play it one play at a time and concentrate. If you feel like you need a guy in there, we're going to try to rotate people, play quite a few people tonight. We've got enough depth, we've got enough conditioning to outlast these people, and I'm expecting in the fourth quarter we're going to be a stronger football team. So let's make sure we take it to them. Let's try to make some big plays tonight. The thing's going to hinge on usually 3-4 plays. You go back, go through the film, you say, well, this play, that play, this play were the turning points. Let's see how many times you guys here can be involved. Everybody be thinking they're going to make the big play. They're going to make the sack, they're going to recover the fumble, they're going to make the big catch, the big run, the block, whatever it takes to get the thing done. Something out of the ordinary. Let's be thinking about that today as you play. As I told you before, this is a time for being positive. Everybody's going to hang together, and all you're thinking about is getting the job done, okay? We came close last year. You dedicated yourself. This is a culmination of a whole year of work right here. And it's all going to hang out tonight. And I don't think we've ever had a team that's better prepared to handle this situation. You've had the crowd noise, you've had the conditioning, you've had scrimmages, you've had more contact than they've had. You're ready to play. You're going to do a great job tonight. There's no concern on my part as to how we're going to get the job done. Okay, and have some fun while you're doing it, okay?
Playing Miami in the Orange Bowl, however, is one of the most difficult tasks in all of college football.
You couldn't ask for a better situation to play Miami at night in the Orange Bowl, their home field, for a national championship. If you beat them down there, there's no questions asked.
The Hurricanes had won 62 of their last 63 games in the Orange Bowl, and they had not lost a night game on their home field in over 17 years.
I think a lot of people, some of the national media, had kind of this idea of Nebraska being a paper tiger, and I think we needed to play a tough team like Miami at their home stadium, and I think we really had the toughest draw of anybody playing in a bowl game, having to play Miami in their own stadium.
This was a team that had handled adversity throughout the regular season, and the Huskers were as unified as ever heading into the Orange Bowl. Tommy Frazier, who had missed the previous 8 games because of blood clots in his leg, was ready for action. And that made the question of who was going to start at quarterback a hot topic.
When there's that much focus on a quarterback situation, it's easy for a lot of people to get distracted, but the team did a great job of not doing that. And when they found out who was starting, it wasn't a big deal because I think they had confidence in both quarterbacks.
We knew that we needed both of them to win the football game, and they helped each other in the game, and they really played well throughout the football season. It was very trying for both of them, and that shows a lot of heart and desire with those two guys that really are team players.
I felt Coach Osborne handled it perfectly. Really, we had a real good 1-2 punch going, and I think that really helped our approach to the game, knowing that we had more than one weapon going into the game, 2 different kind of quarterbacks.
Number 1 Nebraska did not get off to a good start against 3rd-ranked Miami. With Frazier at the helm, the Huskers were 3 and out on their first possession of the game against a Miami defense some called the best ever. The Canes took over with excellent field position at their own 42-yard line, and Frank Costa went to the air to drive Miami deep into Husker territory. Here, Acosta hits Chris T. Jones on the biggest play of the drive, an 18-yard pickup down to the 20-yard line. The Nebraska defense, however, would not let Miami go any further.
The give is to Stewart, tries the right side. The Huskers play brilliant defense, a loss on the play. Stewart had nowhere to go. Tremendous pursuit led by Tony Veland, helped out by Troy Dumas.
Miami settled for a 44-yard Dane Pruitt field goal, and the Canes led the Huskers 3-0. Then it was time for the NU offense to get rolling. Sophomore I-back Lawrence Phillips was involved in the first 4 plays, which netted 22 yards. Tommy Frazier's first carry in over 3 months resulted in an 8-yard pickup. The NU offensive line lived up to its best-in-the-nation reputation by opening up huge holes on the drive. The Huskers moved into Miami territory on this 8-yard run by Phillips. But just as Nebraska fans began to celebrate,
under center, Tommy in the A set takes the snap, option right, pulls back the throw out of it, goes long. He's got Abdul between double coverage. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Miami inside the 5-yard line.
The Hurricanes came up with the first turnover of the game, and Nebraska would pay for the mistake. 3 long pass completions enabled Miami to march 97 yards against the Huskers. First, it was Costa to Jamie German for 17. On the next play, the Hurricanes moved into NU territory.
1:25 to go in the first. Costa takes the snap, turns, play fake, wants to throw, pocket holds again, goes long, and has a step jump ball. It's complete inside the 40, and down to the 36-yard line in Nebraska goes A.C. Tellison.
2 plays later, Costa had the Miami fans thinking blowout. Chris Jones broke free on a 35-yard touchdown reception, which gave the Canes a 10-0 lead after 1 quarter.
I think we just dug down and told ourselves in that second quarter to stop them. I mean, this is it. We had to do it because we screwed up, gave them 10 points already, so we had to, help the offense out a little bit.
As planned, Coach Osborne inserted Brooke Behringer to replace Frazier in the second quarter, and it appeared to be the spark Nebraska needed.
I just kind of went into the game knowing that, hey, we're in a deficit now. We're down 10-0. I've got to go out, I've got to be calm. And there's a lot of things running through your mind, but the biggest thing I had to do was just execute.
On the first play of the second quarter, Lawrence Phillips went wide left for 15, and NU was rolling. Miami's defense rose to the occasion, however, to shut down the Huskers. Lombardi winner Warren Sapp sacked Behringer for a loss of 12, and Nebraska was once again forced to punt. But thanks to the talented foot of Darren Erstad, the Huskers began to win the battle for field position, and NU would maintain an edge in that key category the rest of the night. In the second quarter, the Blackshirts started to take control, keeping the Hurricanes out of Husker territory on all 4 of their possessions before the half. The Miami offense, meanwhile, began to show its frustration in the form of penalties. Here, A.C. Tellison is whistled for offensive pass interference after losing out on a battle with Husker safety Kareem Moss. On 3rd and 24, freshman Grant Wistrom snuffed out a Miami pass play, and the Hurricanes were forced to punt for the first time.
Miami has had problems in their punting game. They've had a lot of long snaps. Sail over the punter's head, and almost there. High snap, punter gets it off. And Kareem Moss underneath the ball at the 48-yard line of Nebraska. Starts to the right, gets to the 50. Eludes a tackler, cuts off left side, inside the 45. He's down to the 40-yard line of Miami, and Nebraska's got it 1st and 10.
It took the Huskers just 5 plays to complete a 40-yard touchdown drive. Lawrence Phillips got things started with a tough 7-yard run. On the next play, Coach Osborne dipped into his bag of tricks and pulled out a misdirection play with speedster Riley Washington picking up 9 yards. 2 plays later, Brooke Behringer rolled right and lofted a 17-yard strike to tight end Mark Gilman.
Brooke drops back, rolls to the right, run pass option. Mark Gilman's got the ball. Mark Gilman for the touchdown.
The most apprehensive moment was going up to the line of scrimmage and thinking this could be a big play. Brooke and I made eye contact, and the ball was in the air, and it was in the air for, seemed like about a week and a half, to tell you the truth. It was floating up there. It looked like the Goodyear blimp, actually. I just told myself, don't mess this one up. Look it in. It was a great feeling to know that I helped the team in that aspect, you know, getting the first touchdown and breaking the ice and getting some confidence going.
It was pretty inspiring because, you know, all of a sudden we're back in the game, and it was right, you know, before halftime, and it gave us a little bit of momentum going into halftime, and you know, it was important the way the game was going.
Tom Sealer's point after kick was good, and Nebraska had pulled to within 3 at 10-7. One of the goals of the Husker defense was to put pressure, and lots of it, on Frank Costa. And on Miami's next possession, Troy Dumas recorded the first of 5 Husker sacks. The Miami passes, which gave Nebraska fits early on, were now falling harmlessly to the turf. The Huskers got the ball back in excellent field position, and on first down, Brooke Behringer carried for 6 into Miami territory. But on the next 2 plays, the Canes shut NU down, and the Huskers were forced to punt. After running for a first down, the Miami offense went back to the pass, but once again, the Blackshirts were up to the task. In the second quarter, Frank Costa completed just 3 of 11 passes for a mere 23 yards. On its final possession of the half, Nebraska had 3 minutes to work with before the break, and Behringer was doing whatever he could, battling the clock and the Canes. Brooks scrambled out of bounds after picking up 7 yards. Reserve I-back Damon Benning came in and picked up 18 yards on 3 tough runs.
2:33 to go in the half, and Brook takes the snap, counter sweep right side. It's Benning turning the corner, 30-yard line, 35, across the 40, 45, and down he goes just shy, I believe, of the first down marker. Damon Benning, a somersault.
But the Husker drive stalled at the 50-yard line, and Nebraska headed to the locker room, trailing 10-7. Nebraska coach Tom Osborne is not one given to fiery, win one for the Gipper type speeches. But in the locker room at halftime, Osborne outlined his game plan for the second half, and it was almost as if Dr. Tom could see exactly what was going to happen in the final 30 minutes of play.
We're in good shape. I think we're going to wear them out. As a matter of fact, I know we are. I think we're in better condition. We have more depth. So just keep hammering them. That's the main thing you got to do is hit them now. They're going to get rejuvenated a little bit at the half, but just keep going after them now in this third quarter. In the fourth quarter, we'll be able to do what we want to do. We need a lot of pressure on that quarterback. As you can see, when he's under pressure, he does not do well. So keep pressuring him, whether it's 4-man, 5-man, 6-man, whatever it is. Be sound in your coverages. Make sure you communicate. Let's just keep playing physical football, and we'll get it done. Don't anybody ever lose confidence. We're going to get it done. It's going to happen. And it'll happen late in the ball game probably. But if we keep going, we're going to be all right. We still haven't got a turnover, I don't think, do we? Let's see if we can't get a couple, 3 turnovers this half. Fellas, now one last thing. Now listen to me. I'll promise you this. If you guys will get your hands down, they're going to get a critical penalty at a time that's going to kill them. I mean, we do not want the dead ball foul. You understand that? So I don't want anybody being a banty rooster. I don't want anybody pushing or shoving because it's going to be 2 flags and offsetting penalties. The thing that you can do that will hurt those guys the most is to have the penalty walked off. You can't hurt a guy with all this equipment on. So don't be pushing them out. And I don't want to see one more incident of that. Just play harder. The more they talk, the more that kind of stuff they do, the harder you play. All right? Now listen, fellas, we're going for the national championship. We got 30 minutes to get it done. Let's get it done, okay? There's no excuses. This time we get it done.
I don't know. Coach Osborne must have got a message from up above or something because everything that he said came true. So.
He does that a lot. I think he's, you know, a mind reader or psychic or just he's been around for so long, he knows. And that's good, you know, to have a coach like that to kind of give you a game plan.
Yeah, after the game, I sat there and thought about, you know, everything that he said, you know, up to the game and during the game, and it was a perfect plan against Miami, and basically everything that he said happened.
To start the second half, adversity reared its ugly head once again. this time in the form of a 78-yard touchdown drive. On the Hurricanes' second play of the third quarter, Stewart picked up a big 13 yards. Then Costa went back to the air and drilled one to Jermaine Chambers for 14. The Husker defense showed signs of resolve.
Costa with 2 wideouts left and 1 to the right takes the ball, drop play to the running back, and that is Stewart out beyond the inside the 45 to the 44-yard line of Nebraska.
But just when the Big Red had slowed the drive, the Hurricane warnings came out again. Costa fires to Jonathan Harris, and 44 yards later, Miami had another 10-point lead. It took the Canes less than 2 minutes and just 5 plays to travel 78 yards.
We're going to get rejuvenated a little bit at the half and just keep going after them now in this third quarter.
But these 7 points would be Miami's last.
We all came together on the sideline, and we said, enough is enough. And we just continued to go out there, shut them out 3 downs and out, and we played the best defense of our lives.
The Husker offense didn't respond immediately to Miami's touchdown. In fact, the Huskers went 3 and out on their initial possession of the second half. The tide, however, was about to turn. On 2nd and 10, Miami was slapped with a personal foul penalty when Christian Peter heeded Coach Osborne's advice by not fighting back.
The thing that you can do that will hurt those guys the most is to have the penalty walked off. You can't hurt a guy with all this equipment on.
I'm not one to, like getting abused and beat on, but there was no way the ref could not see what was going on, and I was like, just stay cool and, we'll get 15 yards here. I just kept my composure.
The personal foul penalty moved the ball back to the 4-yard line, and then the Huskers got the big play they needed, one that Coach Osborne predicted.
I'll promise you this, if you guys will get your hands down, they're going to get a critical penalty at a time that's going to kill them.
Costa sets up in the backfield. They're going to get it for safety. Safety, Dwayne Harris all over Frank Costa. The Huskers get a deuce.
Harris's safety made the score 17-9 Miami. But more importantly, the momentum was beginning to swing in Nebraska's favor.
You look over on the Miami sideline and see players getting upset with each other, kind of losing some of their unity. You'd see guys getting upset and taking their helmet off and throwing it on the ground, and when you kind of see things like that, you always know that you've won the game, that the other team's going to fold when you see them reacting to things going wrong like that.
Nebraska picked up 18 yards on its first 4 offensive plays following the safety. Beringer connected with Brendan Holbein for 7, but again the Huskers were forced to punt. Erstad boomed a 52-yarder, and Miami was lucky to keep possession when Jamie German fumbled the fair catch. Miami drove 36 yards on the Husker defense, but it would be the Canes' last sustained drive of the night. The black shirts showed why they were ranked in the top 10 in every defensive category as they began to be the dominant D on this night. In fact, this 8-yard run by James Stewart with 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter proved to be the Hurricanes' last first down of the game. Miami ran 3 straight plays from the 50-yard line, but the black shirts weren't about to let the Canes into Husker territory. Jason Pesterfield applied the pressure on first down. Then Phil Ellis stepped up with a great play on 2nd and 10. And finishing out this Miami possession, it's all Big 8 cornerback Baron Miles.
Costa screen pass right side complete. Chris T. Jones knocked down hard at the 45-yard line by Baron Miles. Baron jumped on his back and drove him to the turf.
The Huskers got the ball back with just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and NU began picking up yardage in big chunks. Brooke Beringer came out gunning, and Abdul Muhammad showed why he was the Huskers' go-to receiver in '94.
Goes over the middle, it's complete at the 35-yard line, and down for a first down at the 36-yard line. The Cornhuskers, Abdul Muhammad, Nebraska's leading receiver. Abdul in motion left to right, takes the snap, boots to the right side, and Brooke to throw the ball over the middle, and it's complete, and a great grab across the 50-yard line. Abdul Muhammad once more, baby. Abdul with a big grab. The snap to Brooke, wants to throw, does over the middle. It's complete inside the 40-yard line to the 38, and I believe a first down again to Abdul Muhammad.
It looked as though nothing could stop the Big Red on this drive. But as fate would have it, the Huskers would have to overcome 2 more turnovers to win this game. NU's first fumble of the game brought a halt to a 57-yard drive. To many, things did not look good for the Huskers as they trailed the Canes 17-9 at the end of the third quarter. But 15 minutes of action remained, setting the stage for the greatest fourth quarter of football in Husker history. Perhaps one of the best in 125 years of college football. This was a team that had refused to lose. This was a team with unfinished business.
I think we're going to wear them out. As a matter of fact, I know we are. I think we're in better condition. We have more depth. In the fourth quarter, we'll be able to do what we want to do.
We dominated the fourth quarter. I don't think I've ever watched a quarter of college football, I mean, with two teams of that caliber, where one team just destroyed another team so bad in a quarter like that. I mean, they had negative 35 yards. That's nothing. I mean, it's less than nothing.
It was a typical Nebraska-style football game if you go back to the days of before I even came here. It was 4 quarters. It was play them close, get to the end of the game, show them what you have, get after them in the fourth quarter, win the game in the fourth quarter, and actually break them down. And I mean, everything that is represented by our system was what held through for us in the fourth quarter.
Being the best conditioned and dominant team in the fourth quarter is a trait of all Tom Osborne coached teams. And for this year's Huskers, all the hard work in the spring, summer, fall, and throughout the month of December was about to pay off. Baron Miles was getting the best of the much taller Miami receivers, and the Canes offense stalled at the start of the fourth quarter. Miami was facing 4th and 3 at their own 43 when the Huskers got a big break.
The punter goes after the ball at the 10-yard line, kicks the ball out of bounds. And a penalty marker, you can't do that.
Instead of taking a safety, the Huskers opted for possession of the football on the 4-yard line. But then came the unthinkable.
I was trying to throw it out back in the end zone, and I didn't have any, there was no doubt in my mind I had thrown that ball 20 yards deep, but the guy jumped up and caught it, and I couldn't believe it. And so it was a big mistake. It was a big turnover.
Many Nebraska fans in the stadium and throughout the country thought the interception would break the Huskers' spirit. But this was a team unified by adversity, coached by the best. This was a team that still believed.
Don't let anybody ever lose confidence. We're going to get it done. It's going to happen. And it'll happen late in the ball game probably. If we keep going, we're going to be all right.
We still never gave up like we never have, we never have the whole season. So I don't think any of us ever lost faith in ourselves.
I'm kind of glad we didn't score there. When it's all over, you'd like to have it then. But when it was all over, I was kind of glad we didn't score there because nobody was going to say Miami gave it to us.
Coach always talks about life being an endurance race, and those that persevere are the people that are successful. And I think that game was a true testimony to that statement. It was a perseverance race, and we just kept on dealing with adversity until we finally got over the top and finally started reaping some of the benefits.
Miami would get the ball 4 more times in this football game. But the Hurricanes didn't even come close to moving the ball against the Blackshirts. In fact, Miami would wind up with minus 35 yards of offense in the deciding period. Coach Osborne and Turner Gill decided it was time to put the 1994 Orange Bowl MVP, Tommy Frazier, back in the saddle.
The first thing I did when I went into the huddle was just looked at everyone and told them that if they want to win this game, then it has to come from the heart. And then they really looked at me, and you saw like some of their eyes really lit up.
Tommy came in, and he was real hyped up, and he wanted to, he really wanted to get a score in and try to, take the lead. And when he came in, everybody was pretty hyped, and I think that's what got it going.
It was an inauspicious first play, though, for Frazier. Tommy was sacked by Warren Sapp for a loss of 5. If the Canes thought that a little setback would deter Frazier from his goal, they had another thing coming. Tommy came back on 2nd and 15 to connect with Abdul Muhammad for 12 yards. But on 3rd and 3, Miami stuffed the Husker option. On 4th down, Darren Erstad came up with another huge punt. This one took a Husker bounce and stopped dead on the 4-yard line. Linebacker Doug Coleman made a big stop on first down, throwing James Stewart for a loss of 2 back to the 2-yard line. On 3rd and 6, Costa tried to hit Chris Jones, but with Baron Miles close by, the pass bounced away incomplete. When the Huskers got the ball back, they were just 40 yards from the Miami end zone. NU would cover the distance in 2 plays. Lawrence Phillips went wide on the option and picked up a hard-fought 25 yards.
Inside the 30, 25, inside the 20, and Lawrence Phillips is down to the 15-yard line. Lawrence Phillips ran out of sideline, but cut that baby back.
With the Miami defense tiring and concerned about the Huskers' speed to the outside, it was a perfect opportunity to bust one up the middle.
1st and 10 at the 15 of Miami. Tommy under center. Has the snap from Graham. And he gives it off. It's inside the 10, inside the 5, and it's Corey Schlesinger. Touchdown! 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 Cornhuskers!
Basically, all I was doing is running off the tackle's block. I got behind him, got the field, and I seen one guy coming across, and so I thought maybe I could jump over this guy, and I did, and got in the end zone.
Trailing 17-15, Nebraska went for 2. Ironically, in the same end zone where a failed 2-point conversion cost the Huskers the national championship 11 years earlier. Tommy rolled right and threw a bullet to senior tight end Eric Alford. The score was tied 17-all with 7:38 to play.
The minute it was tied, you know, you just sensed up in the press box that, hey, it was over. We're going to do it.
I could tell they didn't want it as bad as we did, and when he scored up the tie of the game, you could have quoted me. I knew we'd score another touchdown.
Outland Trophy winner Zach Wiegert knew what he was talking about. Miami's offense went nowhere as all Big 8 outside linebacker Dante Jones made the stop on first down. Baron Miles then broke up his 3rd pass of the game on 2nd down. On Miami's 3rd try, the Huskers blew the coverage, but Dwayne Harris forced Costa to hurry his pass.
We need a lot of pressure on that quarterback. As you can see, when he's under pressure, he does not do well.
The pass flew 5 yards over a wide-open Miami receiver. Maybe, just maybe, it was Nebraska's turn. With 6:28 to play, the Huskers took over at their own 42-yard line.
Let's get it done, okay? There's no excuses. This time we get it done.
I think the thing I'll remember most about the game is that last drive in the 4th quarter where we wore them down, and you could tell in their eyes that we were taking over the game.
I went back out there and said, asked them if they really wanted to win this game, let's do it now. And 5 plays later, we're in the end zone.
After a 7-yard pass to Reggie Ball, it was 3rd and 4 at the 48. And then a healthy and rested Tommy Frazier showed the nation why he was a leading Heisman Trophy contender to start the season.
Tommy inside the 35, inside the 30-yard line. Tommy Frazier to the 32-yard line. 1st and 10 Huskers.
I think the whole team knew that we were going to come back. It was when Tommy ran that one option. I mean, it was like he's back.
From that point, it showed myself that I was back and I was the same person I was at the beginning of the season. That's why I showed that emotion and showed everyone that with all the problems that I had, that I'm back to 100%.
Tommy's 25-yard gallop had the Hurricanes headed backward, and in a hurry. Following a 7-yard pickup by Lawrence Phillips, Nebraska took a timeout. And while the Huskers stood huddled together, the tired Miami players were spread out on their knees and visibly exhausted. Nebraska was taking care of business.
It was one of those things, we knew that we were unified, we knew that we prepared better than they had, and it was, when you'd see them do that, you knew that we were the ones who were going to win the game, just that we were the ones who were ready for that situation.
I remember telling the outside backing group that they're going to be doing a lot of talking, we're going to have to play hard. We'll realize when they start getting tired, the talking will slow down. They'll be on their knees in between breaks. I mean, it's like deja vu.
The Huskers had Miami on the ropes, and they knew it. After Frazier delivered in the clutch again on a crucial 3rd down play, Nebraska went for the knockout punch.
Schlesinger and Phillips in the eye, the snap to Tommy, and the give on the trap play, and it's Schlesinger inside the 5. Is that for the touchdown? He's got the touchdown! It's the touchdown for Corey Schlesinger, and Nebraska 2:46 left to go in the ball game.
The coolest part of the whole thing was turning around and seeing the crowd. The cameras. I think Miami people are taking pictures along with Nebraska people, and that was just great.
Corey's second touchdown put the Huskers up 24-17, but it wasn't over just yet. Miami still had one more chance. In the 1995 Orange Bowl, however, the only last-minute heroics would be displayed by the dominating Husker D, the Black Shirts. On 2nd and 5, Big Terry Keneally led the defensive charge. On 3rd and 13, Dwayne Harris capped the best game of his Husker career with yet another sack. And on 4th and 19, Miami had one last shot.
A minute 15, minute 14, minute 13 to go. Costa, nobody with him in the backfield, takes the snap. He's in the end zone. He throws long down the near sideline. It's a jump ball, and it is almost, it's intercepted! Intercepted by Nebraska! The Huskers have the ball!
The final minute of play was a mere formality as Nebraska ran the clock down to 0. The scoreboard read, Nebraska 24, Miami 17.
Nebraska will win the national championship. The Cornhuskers beat Miami 24-17 and win the national title.
Now it was time to celebrate. The entire state of Nebraska went into a state of euphoria. And the celebration in the Husker locker room was something no one in attendance will ever forget.
I've never been in a locker room like that before. I mean, I've been in some locker rooms when we beat Oklahoma and really been excited. But the continuation, if you had to let them go, they'd probably still be down there screaming.
I've never seen that type of atmosphere before. There were guys, I mean, the release of all that hard work and all that pressure and all that, I mean, it was a physical game, a huge emotional ebb and flow game. All that was released in a matter of 5-10 minutes. It was a great feeling.
Everybody was just going crazy, and it was just a moment you can't even hardly explain, because you just wanted to grab somebody and just be so emotional involved with finally doing it.
I just remember going back to the locker room and actually crying a little bit, just so much work, so much, heartbreak as well as so much joy. There's just so much emotion. It's just kind of like every emotion you could feel rolled into one. And it's something I don't think I'll ever feel again, but it'll be something I always treasure.
Amidst the pandemonium of the team celebration was also a poignant moment for private reflection and thanks. And of course, words from the best college football coach in America to the best college football team in America.
Just want to thank you guys for the effort. Gave us a great effort for a year. And you really dedicated yourselves, and it paid off. I'm really proud of every guy here. So I want to thank you for that. Now, we got a lot of fans out there. If you want to go out and just thank them, that'd be fine. Do you want to do that or not? Yeah.
The Husker players returned to the field to share the championship moment with the more than 20,000 Nebraska fans who attended the game. Those fans played a big role in the Husker victory, cheering the team throughout the night. In fact, in the critical fourth quarter, it sounded more like a game in Lincoln than Miami, with all the noise the faithful Nebraska fans were making. Back in the locker room, Coach Osborne fielded a congratulatory call from President Bill Clinton.
Well, I appreciate it very much. And again, I just appreciate your call and hope you and your family have a happy New Year. Okay. Thanks a lot, Fred.
Who was that,
Okay.
and what did he say, Coach?
Now, that was the president. He said he was proud of the team and thought we'd handled adversity well.
Then it was time to hear from the Huskers themselves on how they felt about their national championship.
I don't know what to say. I just know everybody left it all out there on the field, and we #1 right now. I don't care what the polls say.
I love these guys. I sold my body for them. They sold it for me, and we came out winners. That's all. Did it for Coach Osborne especially. He's the man I think we really did it for.
The long summers finally paid off. The hard, long practices has finally paid off. The unity that we developed as a team finally paid off. Hey, it feels great to have a title under your belt.
I can't even put it into words. It's unbelievable. It's my best day on earth. Simply put, #1, baby.
We got behind a little bit, but we never really were. We just kept it together and we got it done.
I thought I'm gonna hit me until I read the papers tomorrow and see what they think now. Yeah, finally did it. Finally did it.
I really don't know what to say right now other than just I'm so happy for the team and for Coach and for all the fans who stood by us. We've had some up times this year, some down times. We hung in there and we did it.
We worked hard all year long. In the summer, every time we had unfinished business written up on the side with 1:16 left. It doesn't get any better than this. We worked for it all year long. The fourth quarter, we went out there, we had it in the heart.
Every dream I've ever had came true tonight. I mean, even though I didn't have the game-winning field goal, hey, we're #1. That's all that matters. Something went step for step. I mean, we overcame adversity. Everybody stepped up a notch, and they all sold out. It's great.
It haven't hit me yet, but it's gonna sink in. It's all good.
They had a lot
They
to
had
say.
a lot to say.
lot
I
to
got
say.
something to say, though. We beat the sap out of Miami. Yeah.
What about winning this for Coach Osborne?
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, we wanted to win it so bad for him, not only ourselves, but for him because, he's been so close, and we just felt like he deserved it so much.
We just tired of being stepped on. We just tired of being stepped on. That's all it is. It's finished business, and hopefully the polls will see that.
Tonight, the fourth quarter was ours. They couldn't hold us. The only thing stopping us was ourselves, and we threw them around in the fourth quarter. That's Nebraska football, baby. Grinding it out for 4 quarters and then just putting it down your throat when it counts.
I know you were real disappointed a month ago when you didn't get the hardship. This kind of makes up for it.
Yes, it makes up for it. Nah, I don't care about the hardship. I got my national championship.
No one gives Nebraska respect, and that can really tear at a person pretty much. And we came here with the idea of unfinished business from last year's game. We're going to come in here and finish what we did not do last year, and that's what we did.
This is great not only for our football program, but for the entire intercollegiate athletics program, and great for the university and for the state of Nebraska.
This team set out with a purpose the whole year, and they talked about it, and they had the goal to win the national championship, and they never wavered. They always knew what we had to do. I'm so proud to be part of this Nebraska program.
Well, I am very happy because Tom deserves this because he had a great deal to do with the last national championship, and he deserves this one. It made me feel very good.
To welcome the team back to Lincoln, a celebration was organized at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. When the doors were opened at noon, it took just 7 minutes for 13,000 Husker fans to get in. The doors had to be closed and several thousand were turned away. Not to be deterred, many of those fans decided to line the streets in freezing temperatures to catch a glimpse of the Huskers as they drove by. There was only one trouble. The Nebraska team plane was delayed for over 2 hours. So instead of returning to Lincoln at 1 in the afternoon, the Huskers didn't arrive until 3:30. Still, thousands of fans lined the streets. It was an emotional tribute to the national champions, which touched all of the coaches and players.
I told some people last week, I said, if we win the national championship, you're going to be amazed at how many people show. And of course, I would have been very had there not been people at the airport all the way in and then the Devaney Center. And that, to me, was just fabulous.
The emotional pitch got even higher when the team entered the Devaney Sports Center, much to the delight of the fans who had been waiting patiently for over 4 hours to experience the moment.
Come in and hear the song that we play when we come out the tunnel, it just thrilled your spine, and you know, I had some tears coming out of my eyes, but it was a great moment and something to never forget.
The fans showed their appreciation to the Huskers with a standing ovation lasting several minutes. And then it was the coaches and players' turn to express their appreciation to the fans.
We ought to do this more often, don't you think? I'd like to thank you very much. I know you've been here a long time, and it's certainly taken a lot of patience on your part. About 22 years of it, I guess. But
I just got a couple things to say. On behalf of the entire team, I'd like to thank Coach Osborne, the best football coach in the country. The fans and everyone here, you guys are second to none. You're absolutely awesome. And I just want you to know, we didn't win this just for ourselves. We won this for the whole state of Nebraska. Go Big Red.
Feels good, doesn't it, man? People wonder why I left the state of Texas to come play football here, and look what we got now, national championship.
I just like to say this is one time that the nice guys didn't finish last, and that's really nice. Again, I'd like to thank you, and if you wouldn't mind, this is definitely a Kodak moment, you know what I'm saying?
This is a great day for a great football program with great players, a great coaching team, a great opportunity that was not missed but taken last night. With the greatest fourth quarter maybe ever in Nebraska football history.
Sure, I scored 2 touchdowns, but all I did was run the ball. It was the offensive lineman, the receivers blocking downfield that did everything. All I had to do is run into the end zone. Too easy, way too easy. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and you're the best.
Winning the 1994 National Championship has been the fulfillment of a dream for all Nebraska fans. But nowhere does the satisfaction and sense of accomplishment run deeper than with the Husker coaching staff. Tom Osborne's 9 assistant coaches have been a part of the Husker staff for an average of 13 years apiece. And 2 of the coaches, George Darlington and Milt Tenneper, have given over 20 years of service. The hard work and loyalty of these veteran coaches has paid off in the last 20 years in the form of 11 Big 8 championships, 14 consecutive New Year's Day bowl games, at least 9 wins every season, as well as numerous individual and academic awards for the players. And to be a part of a national championship season is something these men will always cherish.
To me, the greatest honor that we had in this ball game was the fact that we now have a national platform of visibility to express what true character is all about. I think we were definitely a team of character.
I have pride in the fact that the thing was done right. The kids pulled together, played together, overcame adversity, learned tremendous lessons of life during this season, and yet still were able to win 13 games.
The staff is a very close staff, hard-working staff, and the football players on this team have always been willing to fight for their dreams. So it kind of proves out that good guys do win.
And I think every coach feels certainly satisfied with what we have gotten done as a staff, because you got to have unity on your football team, but without question, you got to have unity on your staff also. And this staff has been that way. It's had a purpose of doing everything that we could do to give those kids a chance in every ball game to be successful.
I'm just happy for Coach Osborne, and I'm just very, very happy that I've had an opportunity to play for him, to coach for him, and he's been a very, very instrumental part of my life as teaching me about life, and not just football, and that's what Coach Osborne is all about. And he's very happy, we're very happy for him, and it's a great feeling, and we'll be back again next year to go get another one.
Turner Gill echoed the sentiment of football fans nationwide. Everyone was happy for Coach Osborne.
That's been gratifying that people seem to be concerned about my well-being or whatever, and so that was really nice. And again, I was okay without it. I think many people assumed I was suffering more than I really was.
You see, for Tom Osborne, the national championship has never been his ultimate goal. His focus has been with the players and helping them reach their potential in football and life.
As I've said many times, I get my satisfaction from the players and the relationships and those kind of things, which last forever. The trophies fade pretty fast.
It's hard not to feel happy, though, for Tom Osborne. And that is certainly the sentiment of the men who work with him every day.
Through all the years and all he's done for the state, all he's done for the young people around the state, for our players on our football team, that I just felt like that, you know, the goal had been reached, and you know, not to end it here, to keep striving as hard as we can to continue the excellence of this football program.
And so now the national championship, the trophies, the pride, and all that goes with it resides at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, the home of Nebraska football. It's quiet now with the satisfaction of a job well done, yet it also speaks volumes to those who, for a moment or for a lifetime, were touched by its history and what takes place inside its walls. Not the victory, but the action. Not the goal, but the game. In the deed, the glory. For the past 22 years, Tom Osborne has personified the integrity of Memorial Stadium and the success of Nebraska football. For many, his 219th win as head coach will go down as his greatest. After all, his team dominated Miami in Miami, his way, with power football. As a result, he added to his resume the 1994 National Championship and Coach of the Year honors by his peers. Although the National Championship culminates a great career for the most respected coach in college, that's not to say it completes it. Coach Osborne's record at Nebraska is second only to the character and integrity he has built his program on. It is in his action, his game, and his deed that the goal, the victory, and the glory are for Husker fans everywhere to share and experience. But if for one moment or for all time, let the 1994 National Championship be a celebration and a tribute to the man who has meant so much to Nebraska, Tom Osborne.
before. Oh Lord. Well, I remember worry. How could I ever forget? It's the first time and the last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep your silence up. No, you don't fool me, because the hurt doesn't shout, but the pain still grows. So stranger to you and me.